Hey, what's up, guys? So, looks like Nebula Joy just dropped a new trailer for a new hunter in Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and type in YouTube search Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. There's no way that actually worked. First result, look at this. Mirage Slayer Vergil. Mirage Slayer Showcase. Alright, hey, we're gonna click on the video. I'm gonna full screen it and let's watch it for the first time here together. Alright, I'm hyped, boys. Look at this. Oh damn. Oh, he's gonna be long range. He has to be. Oh, he looks cool. Yeah, long range. Holy. So he's got a bit of close range, long range. Obviously, he has a ton of rapid hit movements. Oh, he can go devil trigger. That's good shit. Yeah, many hits. A lot of it looks kind of single target though. Okay, that's it. Man, okay. I mean, it looks cool. It kind of looked, I don't know if it's just me, but a lot of his moves kind of look the same. But I guess how can you be that different when you're just kind of throwing a long range weapon? It's just going to spin and attack the enemies a bunch. Let me just go back here. So, yeah, very cool. I mean, we got yet another Vergil. Wouldn't be Peak of Combat without another Vergil. Back to back. I guess from what I see, I think yeah, he's Ice Element. I think people been saying. I'm a little. Yeah, I think the first obvious thing is many hits. So he's going to be great against hit shield enemies. He'll probably take their shields off instantly with how many times he hits them. You see a little bit of like close range combat, but obviously a lot of it's long range. What I'm also seeing though is like, obviously his attacks are going to hit multiple enemies if they're grouped together, but I'm not really seeing any moves that actually like pull in enemies. It looks like he's doing a lot of like single target damage. And like I said in my last video with Legend Seeker Vergil, it's kind of hard to dictate much when there's no damage numbers, there's no UI to showcase kind of more intricate details about what's going on. But like a move like this with how big it is, yeah, if you can get enemies grouped together, I can see that probably doing a ton of damage to a whole group if you can manage to get them grouped together. It looks like he has a whole lot of just kind of like throwing these blades in multiples, like you can just see there, which is cool, but it would almost be better, and like obviously I'm just speaking without knowing yet, just all speculation of course, but it would kind of be cool if like, because he's almost giving me like EJ vibes with, this is essentially the first hunter we've truly seen, especially if he's incredibly strong, that's been like long range. So we know with long range characters comes a safe distance, and safe play means that it's harder to get hit, and if you can do a lot of damage at range, that'll be really good for content like Bloody Palace. But yeah, it's kind of, I was kind of hoping to see, with him throwing multiple of these blades, I was hoping to see him hit multiple targets with it, but it almost seems like they're just hitting one, which is kind of weird. Like, he could be truly devastating if all these blades he's throwing was just hitting multiple enemies or ricocheting. I think that would kind of be cool. Like, what if you rank him up or rank his weapon up and it unlocks like a passive ability to hit one enemy and ricochet to 2 or 3 other enemies, kind of similar to how Frosty Grace is with her skill attack, where her bullets ricochet off like 2 or 3 enemies. So having something like that would kind of be cool, that I'm not really seeing from this trailer. He has some close range stuff, obviously aerial combos. It looks pretty cool, but with a character that's long range like this, I really don't see why you would ever want to be close range. Unless these close range attacks are doing like absurd amounts of damage, I don't know why you wouldn't just stand at the back of the map and throw a ton of damage at these enemies from a safe distance. But, I mean, it looks cool, I guess, and we'll see once the Hunter releases fully what he's capable of, as usual. So that was kind of cool. Like, okay, so let's just dissect this here. So he's in the middle of an attack, jumps up, double jumps. It almost looks like he dashes backwards. Kind of the similar thing that EJ does and then teleports to the ground. Now, that almost looked like a charge. Like, I wonder if... Unless that's just his, like, air attack downwards, maybe it pulls him to the ground and then releases that large spinning blade. I really do like how he can go Devil Trigger, but we're not really seeing a change in his moveset. Like, it's probably just gonna buff him. That's kind of a shame. Like, can you imagine if it created doppelgangers like Legend Seeker Vergil does, where he's throwing, or like for instance, so notice how all these blades are just attacking one enemy. That'd be cool if when you go Devil Trigger he gets doppelgangers and those doppelgangers are throwing blades at other enemies as well. That would be really cool. But it looks like it doesn't really change too many. Yeah, he's still doing the same movesets, just probably buffed in his Devil Trigger form. Yeah, a lot of the same moves are kind of just being spammed in this trailer. I kind of hope he's capable of more, but at the same time, some of these hunters come out seeming a little half-baked with their movesets, underwhelming sometimes. But then again, in this game, with the way, a lot of the hunter teams are set up, a lot of the hunters kind of just come out, do 1 or 2 moves to like one of their best moves or a buff or whatever, and then they kind of just back out. So it's cool to look at the whole moveset of a hunter, but at the same time we got to realize that a lot of these hunters just kind of come out, do 1 or 2 moves, and then they're swapped back out for rotation. So I hope that's not really the case, because if he's ice, that means that he's probably going to have to fit in somewhere with Frosty Grace, can't remember his name, EN, Eternal Nightmare, and Destined Executioner, Dante. So it's going to kind of be interesting to see where he falls in line, because either he's going to be a support or they're going to set him up as a damage dealer. And like, I'm going to be completely honest, as a single target, like, because a lot of his attacks look single target. You know what? Yeah, a lot of his attacks look single target, but his large spinning blade is probably going to hit multiple enemies at once. And I kind of just forgot, like, Ice Team has some of the greatest enemy pulling abilities and area of effect attacks. So with a character like this Vergil, if you can get a character like Destined Executioner Dante to pull all the enemies into one spot, and then you switch out to Mirage Slayer Vergil and you pull off what I'm thinking his large spinning blade attack is probably going to be its strongest, and I'm thinking you're going to QTE in, go Devil Trigger, and then you're going to throw out that large spinning blade while all the enemies are grouped together, and it's probably going to shred everyone. It's going to be hard to contest with EN though. EN is extremely powerful, and he has really amazing area of effect damage. So it's one thing to do single target damage, it's another to multiply that damage when you're hitting multiple enemies at the same time, multiplying that damage or duplicating that damage per se. And that's what makes characters like EJ so good, is when they not only do like a ton of damage up front to a single target, but when some of their moves start hitting multiple targets and duplicating that damage is when you get a really good hunter. So it's really interesting to see. I hope that he's like a self-sufficient hunter, but I don't know. It looks like he's gonna probably have to rely on Destined Executioner to pull the enemies together into one spot, and then you'll probably come out as him, go into Devil Trigger, and then throw out his spinning blade like that to do damage to all the enemies in one area. But then again, like, this is just teaser showcase gameplay video. We don't really fully know what he's capable of, but I'm sure we're kind of seeing the gist of it here, and it's cool and all, but I'm kind of a little bit on the fence about, like, because it kind of seems the trend, especially with Legend Seeker Vergil coming out recently, it kind of seems like the trend is make them kind of brain dead, but make them super strong. So then the power creep on someone like EJ kind of happens, because, and that's actually kind of one thing I'm kind of disliking a little bit, is that I really liked playing with EJ, because not only was he extremely powerful, he had a really wide move set and kit in terms of what you can do with him, and he's kind of just fun to play. I like how you need to practice, get into training and practice your timing with the presses for his judgment cuts and the perfect judgment cuts. He was fun to play as because there was a skill gap involved. Hunters like Legend Seeker Vergil that released recently, he is actually better than EJ in some instances, and outputs a ton of damage, but they kind of made him brain dead. Like, you literally just sit there, spam Void Slash 2 or 3 times, pull out his ultimate, and then spam his Deep Stinger. So even though he's got, some cool moves, you really end up just spamming 1 or 2 moves with the Hunter, and there's really no skill gap with him. You just kind of sit there and spam Void Slash into Deep Stinger, and none of that is difficult to pull off. Whereas with EJ, in order to get really good results with him and yield the damage that he can output, you kind of have to master his playstyle and the timing involved in his attacks that output that damage. So I kind of hope that this isn't really setting a trend for just like brain dead, boring gameplay where you just spam attacks without it really involving any kind of depth to it, because it kind of gets a little boring. But people are attracted to that power. Whatever is the strongest, whatever does the most damage is going to be appealing. So yeah, very interesting to see where this guy's going to fit into the Ice team. Ice team's got some, so Ice team is lacking in terms of the number of hunters, but the hunters that are on Ice team are really good. Like, as a team, they come together really well compared to other teams. Like, they have some of the best grouping ability because of DE. They have some of the best area of effect damage because of Frosty Grace is quite powerful, can pull enemies in a little bit, and has area of effect attacks. And even the shield shredding capabilities with her ricochet bullets. En is a huge player on that team. He does huge damage, huge area of effect damage. The Ice team is just really good. They are lacking the quantity of hunters, though. So it is nice to see a new hunter get onto the Ice team, being Vergil, because I don't think there's a Vergil on Ice team yet. But at the same time, I am interested to see where he's going to fit in. I think they're just going to pump him up with a lot of damage. And like I said, I think the rotation's going to go, you QTE and you pull all the enemies together with DE, you QTE out into Mirage Slayer, he's going to probably have his Devil Trigger ready, so you activate that, then you throw out his large spinning blade, that one, to do some massive damage to the group of enemies. Yeah, see, the thing is, that's what makes EJ so good though too, is he was such a safe hunter, outputs so much damage, and his ultimate does so much damage and hits every enemy on the screen. There's always usually a good with the bad, right? Like when there's something good, there has to be a bit of a risk involved, and with characters who can attack from a distance, they're safe from getting hit, so there has to be a caveat somewhere, like a trade-off. But then again, maybe I'm giving things too much credit here. I'm just trying to speculate and figure out, where his use is gonna be. I could be very wrong. I think we were kind of close on the mark with Legend Seeker Vergil, but he ended up being really strong. A little bit of a brain dead gameplay though, which is unfortunate, but no, Legend Seeker is good. And I probably see the same thing happening with Mirage Slayer Vergil. He might have a bit of a brain dead play style, but they're probably going to pump him full of damage. And then there's speculation that there's going to be like a Gunslinger Dante next, because if we're starting to see like ranged hunters like Mirage Slayer here, I would assume that they're probably going to make a ranged damage dealing Dante at some point soon. They would have to. And then which team he goes on to. Who did we get recently? So Physical was Legend Seeker, and then we're getting Ice. Fire's gotten a lot recently, so my best bet is he might, well, I don't know if Electric would make sense for Gunslinger Dante, but you never know. And who knows, at some point they might even introduce new elements to the game other than fire, ice, electric, and physical. So there's speculation of like light and dark elements being added, things like that. So I guess we'll see. You never know. But yeah, interesting. He looks fun, but he kind of looks spammy. And yeah, I am interested to see where he's going to fit in to the Ice team, because Ice team can already kind of do everything, and they do it really well. So very interested to see where this guy's going to end up being. All right, well, anyways, as usual, I hope you guys appreciated my first time reaction watching this trailer of new Hunter Mirage Slayer Vergil. Just, of course, disclaimer, it's everything we talk about speculation. We will not know anything fully until the Hunter is finally released and we're able to get our hands on him and actually figure things out. Just like with Legend Seeker, I will get this guy in his base form. I'm always hesitant to upgrade a character until I know kind of fully what they're capable of, and if it makes sense to kind of invest in them. But for now, all speculation until we get our hands on him to actually figure out what he can do and where he belongs on a team. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed.